Greetings, this is Mike Clark. I'm going to tell you about how to use the Accounting Applications Utility tool to put a user into an agency different from the one that the agency that he was originally added to. As you may be aware, if, for example, a TEMS user is created in some agency number 1, and then they leave that agency for employment in a second agency and are going to use TEMS there, the old user ID cannot be used in the new agency because it will be detected as a duplicate. Now, you may wish to have that user ID continue in the new agency, even if they're inactivated in the old, just for a historical purpose, but you can't do it using the tools that are provided in the User Manager application itself. This can be done by the developer by hand using SQL or directly into the database, but it's more easily accomplished using this Accounting Applications Utility tool, as I will demonstrate. Now, this tab here is User Management, and I'll first point out that I'm in the QA system, so I'm not operating on any real users. What I want to do, if I know the UPN, or the unique personal number, or unique personal name, which is, and this is a list of all of them right here, from all the way from the beginning to the very end that are in QA. If I'm looking for one in particular, I can put the letters in here for it, like for example mine, C-L-A-R-K, and eventually it gets down to a list, and then I can select from that list, or go even farther and take it down all the way to the unique one that is mine. Okay, or let's say for some reason they didn't tell you what the unique personal name or UPN was, but you do know the name. You can then get over to this sub-tab of the search bar, and you can then say somebody who has the name of Clark, and then I can say M-I, and eventually you see it'll narrow down as well. Okay, and you can switch between them quite freely. Alright, so in this case I am taking the scenario of a user with the UPN of Smith.Dennis, who is in the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and we're going to pretend that he needs to be put into the Washington State Patrol because he got a new job there. So we'll start off with Smith, and eventually we find Smith-Dennis right here. Okay, Smith-Dennis. Theoretically, he'd wanted to have his email changed because Washington State Patrol uses a different format, but we're not going to bother with that right now. That is something else you could do, however. You could put WSP in here and then click Update, and it would change it. But we're not going to do that. So, Dennis Smith has access to the Travel and Expense Management service here. Click there, and it then shows what agencies within the Travel and Expense Management or TEM system he is able to use. And we see that he's Department of Fish and Wildlife. That's there. But we want to add him to the Washington State Patrol. Oh, and just by the way, here's the roles that he has there. The roles are Requester, Approver, and Preparer. Okay, now in order to add him to the new agency, State Patrol, I click the Edit button, and this brings up all the agencies that he is not assigned to in TEMS and shows the one that he is assigned to. So I locate 2250 Washington State Patrol right there. And then I use this button here to push him over to the other side, and he's in there. He now has the important information. He's a member of Washington State Patrol for TEMS purposes. Now, let me show you something here. Down here it says no roles for this agency. Please add roles. We've put him into the Washington State Patrol, but he has to be given a role. We do this through the roles listing. We highlight Washington State Patrol here. See that he has no roles. And the little pop-up there says Edit Roles using Edit button, so there it is. Now, I have all these possible roles that I can give him, but all TEMS users should be requesters. So we'll put him in there with that. And let's say that he's wanted in there also as an approver, so we'll put him in there as that. And let's say I slip and say, well, he's also in fiscal. Then it turned out that was wrong. I shouldn't have put him in fiscal. I can then highlight it on this side and click the other arrow and takes him out of fiscal. Note that this is all accomplished immediately as soon as the action button is pressed. He's in there now. Okay? This does not require a separate update button. It's easily done and all that, so it works quite well. Now he's in there. Now if I go over here, I see that we have a little A next to the agency. Okay, well, in actual fact, he's not in Department of Fish and Wildlife anymore, so I highlight it and I click the Inactivate button, and now you see it's an I. The A still remains with Washington State Patrol, and I could inactivate or activate either one of them. Okay, so this is how we put him in. Now I want to caution you on something. If you put somebody into an agency and they have trips in there, we could theoretically click on the edit button for the agency and highlight the agency here and press the remove button, and they would be removed from the agency. However, that is a very poor idea unless we absolutely are certain that the person in that agency doesn't have any records of any trips and has not approved or prepared or fiscally given the go-ahead on any other reimbursement requests. So we rarely will remove users from an agency. We will almost always only inactivate. We could remove them from the agency only if they have no activity in that agency. Something that this tool does not at present check. So just keep that in mind as a general rule. Don't remove users from agencies unless you absolutely know, like you just put them in, you did it by mistake, then you can take them right out. No harm done. Just don't take anybody out that's been in there. So this should take care of this particular operation. So we'll let that go for the moment, and thank you very much for your attention.